What's going on, guys? Slovosh here. Wanted to bring everyone a new Golgari Goodstuff pile that I've been playing with on the play queue on Magic Arena. This deck is basically just a bundle of black and green creatures that have a lot of mid-range value and just overall are stat-tastic creatures. Almost every person in this whole deck has a novel on them just for all the different things that they can do. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. There's a lot of one-ofs, as you can see in this deck, just because I was kind of testing some positions out. And so far, I like it pretty well. I've been having pretty good success with it. I think our biggest downside to this deck is like a Yorion control deck, which I know there's a lot of those floating around right now, but for like aggro and other mid-range decks, this plays pretty well. And if you guys have any suggestions on how I can tweak this deck, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. But I'm just going to dive right in at the 1 CMC slot. We got Blood Chief's Thirst. This is a good early and late game removal for both creatures and planeswalkers. Kind of hard to, play black without this in the deck anymore. We got Chain Whip Arachnir. This is in here just a one of in case you're playing a rogues deck and it gets milled. This can help re-clear out your graveyard with the escape mechanic and knock off some of the little flyer guys when he comes back in, so that's pretty sweet. You got Swarm Shambler in here just because he's a 1-drop, 1/1 counter, and if he gets targeted, he creates another 1/1. We have a lot of creatures in this deck that get counters on them, and it pretty much just craps out little, chump blocker bodies across the board. And this dude, if you give him enough time, he can become quite big. So he's usually needing to be addressed pretty early. So that's why he's here. We got 2 Stone Coil Serpents. These are great for any kind of multicolored deck, just because of the protection on it. Reach and Trample's amazing. You can play this early or late. This could be a closer for your deck if you have a Vorinclex down and you drop him for 6 mana or something like that. He becomes a 12/12 Reach Trampler with multicolor protection, so it gets really out of hand. But also really good against rogues. That's why he's in here. We got 2 Dream Devourers. This is one of my favorite cards from Kaldheim. He just lets black decks cheat out higher CMC stuff. I know with the Foretell mechanic, you're technically paying for it over 2 turns, but getting a turn 4 Vorinclex or Garruk or something like that is pretty astounding. So he is something that the opponent needs to address really early. Great blocker against aggro too. And if you foretell 2 things, you can get in for 4 damage out of nowhere, so catches a lot of people off guard. Very good card in my opinion. Scavenging Ooze, this is definitely one of the MVPs for the deck. It's just such a good creature for 2 CMC, and definitely controls the graveyard, so this is great against your Rakdos, like graveyard Crocs escape type decks. You can wait for the opponent to put a Crocs in the graveyard. When you have 3 mana up, and you just drop him immediately, get rid of Croxa, and kind of like reset the board. It's usually best to save your Ooze for when it's outside of stomp range. That's kind of like a checks and balances I do whenever I drop a creature. The Bone Crusher Giant is just so common in standard right now that you almost have to have every one of your creatures be a 3 power or 3 toughness creature in order to survive a turn. So if you can wait until you have an extra mana to drop him so that they stay alive past the Bone Crusher, definitely do it. Late game value for this is huge, so you want him to stay alive. I have 2 Chevels. This guy passes the Bone Crusher test with that 3 toughness, and then also Death Touch, so he's a great blocker. Definitely can swing in with him, but the bounty counters is pretty much why I consider him like a mid-range monster. With some of the other removal we have in the deck, if you wait on a turn till you can put a counter on something with Chevel, and then remove that creature with Blood Chiefs or Binding of the Old Gods or something along those lines, or even just the Murderous Rider, you get 3 life back. So anytime you let someone come through That's kind of counteracted by his life gain, and you get the draw card, so it keeps your hand full. So a very good card here. 3 CMC slot, got the I do that every time. Soul Shatter, great instant card, takes care of a lot of cards that can be troublesome to remove without targeting. So like a Goldspan Dragon or like a hexproof guy. You just make the opponent sacrifice him if it's the highest CMC thing they have on the board. So very good removal, instantaneous speed, so that's great. Got 2 Murderous Riders to kind of like help out with the removal package, and he's a 2/3 blocker, so he passes that stomp test too. So good for gaining some life back in the mid-range. Got Llanowar Visionary. This guy is absolutely nuts. Good ramp, card draw, 2/2 body if you're not doing anything with the mana. The fact that he produces more green for like your Scavenging Ooze is just awesome. I was testing out Serolf Realm Eater. This guy is incredible. I may make some tweaks in the deck to bring in another copy of him just because I want to see him more often. But every time I did see him, if the opponent doesn't remove him quickly, you can just make favorable combat blocks and trades to where he stays alive, and you eventually build up enough counters to remove like every token on the board or everything below a certain CMC, and it's just nuts. It can kind of turn into a baby Ugin, and then if you drop him after you have like a Great Hinge or Vorin Clicks on the board, he gets 2 counters each time, or just an additional counter when he comes out, so you can next upkeep immediately remove all 1 CMC things. So if you don't choose to do the removal of the counters, he just becomes this like incredibly large body that every time they chump block him, he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so he just becomes this juggernaut. So pretty sweet. I've really been liking Toski. This is basically just for card draw. You drop him down and you go in with like either your Death Touch creatures, or you go in with like Questing Beast or someone that can't be blocked, and you just get card draw. So it's just really good. And then the first turn you drop them, so like turn 4 into turn 5, if that's if you're playing them on curve, you get an indestructible blocker, which is really nice because you can block anything as long as it doesn't have trample and you take no damage. So that's kind of cool that the first turn it comes in. Really hard for them to remove too, unless they have an exile or some sort of enchantment. Next we got Questing Beast. This is everyone's favorite 4/4 card. This guy's just got so many abilities, it's pretty hard to not put in a mid-range deck, so I put him in here. Every time he drops, it's pretty devastating. Definitely could make some tweaks in the deck to make sure I see him more often too. Him and Serolf are both MVPs in these positions, I would say. Questing Beast, with it being legendary, I didn't want too many, but just the fact that it can take care of planeswalkers, get in past smaller creatures, and is Death Touch if you need to trade up, and when you drop him he's doing damage. It's just damage out of nowhere. It's nice for closing games. We got 3 Binding of the Old Gods. This is like probably one of the cornerstones of this deck. It's just such a fun enchantment. I'm a huge fan of sagas, and 1 and 2 on this enchantment are just amazing because you get to remove anything, and then you get the ramp, and then the last one being Death Touch. If you can time that right with Toski, it's pretty nasty because they're not going to block your guys, and that means you get a lot of card draw off it too. So Binding of the Old Gods is pretty sweet, especially for a color combination. I got Nissa, the new Nissa. Basically with the landfall mechanics, you play her, drop a land on 5, and you can immediately return something from the graveyard with a couple extra counters. That could be like a Serolf, that could be Vorin Clicks, or whatever, just depending on how many lands you got down, kind of thing. But the +1 ability on this is actually kind of astounding how much that little 3/3 menace land will do to your opponent's health total. So not to be fooled with. Those can get through and get quite a bit of chip damage in before they know what's going on. We got 1 copy of Polukranos Unchained. This was in here mainly because of rogue decks. I wanted something that eats up the graveyard, and then the fight mechanic on Polukranos is just too good to pass up. It's just another removal for whatever you need. Makes a great blocker for anything that's death touchy. There's a lot of death touch decks going around right now. He doesn't die, so pretty sweet there. Cosmos Elixir, definitely one of my favorite cards from Kaldheim as well. This is really good against aggro decks. It kind of just outpaces their little chip damage from their small guys. And then if you're above 20 life at the end of your turn, you gain a card. So helps keep your life full and your hand full. And this is a really good thing to cheat out with Dream Devourer, because you can basically get it on, turn 4 and play something else. So it's pretty sweet. Elder Gargaroth, just so many stats, mid-range monster here, man. Vigilance, Trample, Reach, really hard for red decks to deal with something that has 6 power and toughness and can draw your card or a life or make more 3/3s. So every time he drops, if the opponent doesn't remove him before it's your turn, it starts to get really out of hand fast. So that's why he's there. We got 1 copy of Vivian. She's just so much value for 5. You get to see what's coming next. You can plan your plays accordingly. Get one of those 3/3 beasts with whatever you need at the time. Or if you do the -2 and you drop something like a Vorinclex, you can go find your Elder Gargaroth and put it down as well. So you're basically getting, 11 CMC for -2 on her, which is nuts. Most opponents concede immediately when you drop a Vorinclex and a Gargaroth. So just keep that in mind. Speaking of Vorinclex, definitely one of the most meta flipping cards from Kaldheim. This guy is awesome for shutting down pretty much any opponent's +1/+1 counters, any kind of enchantment sagas that they got going on, just everything across the board. He just makes opponents misplay all the time. I see people drop Binding of the Old Gods to get rid of this, and they don't know why it doesn't work. I've seen it where they try to do, like a little meat shield and search for more lands kind of thing. So with, what is that called? Birth of Meldus, none of that works. So he does a lot, and then in this deck with Planeswalkers, he makes them have incredible quick ultimates if we're playing that, or you could just do multiple turns in a row of like the minus on them. So that's why we have a few Planeswalkers in the deck. We got Nissa and Vivian, and we got Garrick, who's next. If you can drop him and he's got 10 power, and you can immediately do the emblem where everything has +3/+3 and trample, it's pretty much game, because emblems you can't do anything about, and every creature that he creates or is already on the board is going to get so much stronger and have trample. And then lastly, in the highest CMC, we got the Great Henge. This makes the mana curve look a little screwy because this is a 9 CMC, but it will never cost 9 if you're playing it correctly. So this is usually like a 6 or a 4, depending on which creature you got on the board. And this is just so much value. We have a lot of creatures in this deck, so every time you drop one, getting a counter, drawing another card. Vorinclex, you get 2 counters. It gets nuts. So lots of good things happening here at the Henge. Then our mana base, we're playing 24. We got 7 swamps, 7 forests, 4 of the new pathway for Golgari, 1 temple. You don't want too many of these because it can make your hands really clunky. Playing 2 of the triomes, just because you can search these up with the Binding of the Old Gods, since it counts as a forest, and it will give you basically a dual land. And the downside of a triome is that they come in tapped anyways, but Binding of the Old Gods makes them come in tapped, so there's literally no problem there. Fabled Passage, just to mana fix if you need it, or fill up your graveyard for Pelucranos or the Chain Whip Arachner. Now this deck is really fun. I'm working on trying to figure out what the best things are in each one of the CMC categories, but you can see my non-committal 2s and 3s across the whole board here. But I was just looking at all my favorite things from all the different CMCs and just kind of packed it into one deck, and makes for some really fun games because there's a lot of different play lines you can go. and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And you'll notice this is a 61 card deck. I don't know that one extra card really throws off any of the numbers. I've never been necessarily mana screwed, so I've been enjoying it, guys, and I hope you do too if you try this deck out. I'll put the link for my EtherHub version of this so you can get the export right into Magic Arena, and you can play with it yourself if you have the cards unlocked. And hopefully that was a decent explanation, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you next time. Peace. All right, Cole 100. Let's see what we can do here. Jeskai. He's gonna think that I'm Sultai. Yes, sir. Might as well play it out. Got the Visionary. That was a tasty target, sir. Put it there. No blocks. Miss a land drop. Got another one. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Hit this one so we get a 3/3 back. Going for the attacks. See what they do. Didn't do nothing. Okay, I'll display this one then. Wow, they are getting pretty mana screwed. Oh, shit, son. What do you got for 4 mana that can take care of that? Yes, that's what I thought. Thank you. Alrighty. There's a lot of power in this hand, and I hope we can get there. This could be a very greedy keep, but I'm going to. But we have turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of pretty much straight gas, so there we go. That's all we needed was a land. Want to take them on? Oh, okay. I'm wondering if we shouldn't start getting really aggressive. I don't want to put my lands at risk of getting blocked, so I think we go Temple of Malady, get another land, perfect. And we will just go with the Questing Beast here. And we will go in for an attack. They have to expend some sort of resource on getting rid of that, because right now they cannot block it unless they just have another Skyclave Apparition. Going with all these. See what they're doing here. Yeah, we'll go green. And I'm gonna go ahead and put down this Vorinclex. Because if they don't crack that Evolving Wilds right now, they can't put counters on anything. But they knew how that worked, apparently, so. Which is fine. Going in with him. You gonna double block? Or are you just taking it? Okay. Fine with me, sir. Because I'm going to... I'm going to drop... Taking out the Questing Beast, okay. I think I'm going to drop the Nissa, which will come in with 8 counters on it. And then I'll attack with the Vorinclex, and then I'll just bring back the Vorinclex. They got an ACD or something? Because that'd really blow if they did. I'm not sure why that didn't work. You may put a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control. I guess I only own 5 lands, so it kind of makes sense. Okay. Let's do this. Go ahead and destroy this duder. Then we will pump, do a simple forest, take action. We are going in with you. And you. And you and you. So that's 8. They'll have to block that. 10, 12. Yep. Okay. Sweet. Back at it again. Okay. This is a decent hand, actually. I like this. If we draw anything late game, we're going to be well set up for it. Start off with a Triumph for sure. Well, yeah, start with the Triumph. Very nice. Okay, we will go with the yeah, we'll go with the Dream Devourer, I guess. Does he want to take that out? It's okay if he does. Damn. Okay. All right. We'll go Visionary. Binding. Nice. Depending on what they play here, we either go Visionary again or Binding. Okay. Easy, easy, easy Binding. Here we go. They're running out of steam. Get down the other Triome. We can also drop a Forest. Put down a Shovel. And I think, yeah, I really don't want them to gain that life. So I think I'll go Bloodchief's Thirst. Knock this out. It's 2 cards out of their hand, and we'll drop a Dream Devourer. Another Feed the Swarm? Man. They are hating on my creatures. I'm gonna play a Swarm Shambler. And I think I'm gonna save the Stone Coil because it could get really big with all the ramp we got. I guess there's really no incentive to not play this then right now. Okay. Unless they got a wipe, which I doubt it. But if they hit an extinction event for odd, that'd be pretty devastating. Okay. Now they're just gonna be beating themselves up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is going to be a beating. I wouldn't be surprised if they scoop. And then I'm going to drop this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'd be a 12-12 next turn. Unless they instantly got removal for Vorinclex. looking through their graveyard. They're bringing something back. Bringing back the Luris. Okay. Yeah, that's still not gonna save you. Yeah, that's... I'm gonna go ahead and spin the 6 now. Make him a 12-12. Yep. I'm gonna say then I'm coming in for the beats, but it's just backup security in case they have something, which I don't think they could, but nice. Alrighty, got a match here. See how our hand's looking. Alright. It's not terrible. I think I'm gonna keep it. Only because we got the Visionary. But I really want to hit Chevelle on turn 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and be the unsung hero and crack the Fabled Passage now. Get my black. Pass the turn. Alright, green. Play shovel. Go Visionary next turn. Probably with an emphasis on Rune of Sustenance. Okay. I guess I'm gonna go black here because Visionary will add another green. And a card, hopefully. Sweet. Get in there. Alright. Lifelink, huh? Alright. Well, I guess since we got nothing to do, we'll go ahead and beat in, see what they do here. Yeah. Oops. Okay. So that's a good creature to get out of there. Oh, 3 color, huh? So they're gonna exile my Chevelle and they were going to block the Land of War. Okay, well, I'd like to ramp more, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock this dude out. Draw a card, hopefully get a land. I did not. We're gonna keep going in. Alright, so we'll get a land from Binding, thankfully. Really wants Dwarf. I've missed a ton of land drops now. It's pretty obvious. Considering going with the ooze here. Yeah. Bring down a Zagath. Triome. And we will go green on this. And I think we just go in with him. See what they do. Nothing. That's cool. Alright, we're gonna go here, create a 3/3 with reach, just in case they have some sort of flying. next turn, if they don't get rid of this and kill my Vivian, I'm going to drop Vorinclex right on their face, probably with a -2, which will also bring out the Elder Gargaroth, which would be nasty, because that's just so much power on the board. Fine by me. Okay. So we will go -2. Play a Vorinclex. Get out a Gargaroth as well. That's a lot of heat. Yep, that's what I figured. That's pretty much the scoop maneuver there. Solid game. Well, guys, that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Again, this deck has been serving me pretty well. I only showed the wins today because they're more entertaining than getting milled out by a mono blue deck or something along those lines. So yeah, I just wanted to do kind of like a in the video thank you. Just to remind everybody, if you enjoy this content, like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you think I should add something into this good stuff pile here, or if you think I should tweak any of my numbers of the cards or anything like that. I'm always looking for a way to make things better, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for making it to this point in the video, and hopefully we can turn out some more, man. Having a lot of fun with all the Kaldheim additions to my favorite color combination. Take care, everyone. See ya. Peace.